What's up, Titans fans? It's your boy CD back again with another episode of Tighten Up Today. Today's show is all about the recap. We get to recap the Cincinnati Bengals beating our Tennessee Titans 31-20, but it's not all bad. I promise I got some good news to bring you. No need to delay. Let's get right down to it. All right, Titans fans, so let's get right into this. Obviously, we're coming off of a loss. Losing to the Bengals, who were 1-5-1. Now they're 2-5-1. Losing to them 31-20 in a game that we most definitely should have won, and we did not play our best football. We got that. That's the bad news. The good news is our GM, Mr. Robinson, got to work immediately after the game. Our defense has been definitely the worst thing that we have to offer week in and week out. Can't stop the pass, really have a hard time stopping the run, as well as we're last in like yardage per carry that we've given up. But the biggest thing is our cornerbacks' health. We have Malcolm Butler obviously starting for us. He's our best cornerback to date. Our number 2 cornerback is Jonathan Joseph, who was supposed to be our replacement for Logan Ryan, who's supposed to be more of a slot cornerback, as Adoree Jackson was going to come out and be that standout this year and take over the number 1 cornerback spot. But he's been hurt all season long. We just now put Christian Fulton on the IR for the remainder of the season. Or sorry, not for the remainder of the season. We'll see if we get him back. And it's a short-term IR situation. But putting him on the IR is not good. Obviously, we are hurting at the cornerback position. So there's only one thing to do. John Robinson, he goes out and gets us a cornerback, an all-pro cornerback to be exact. Desmond King. We have 2 Kings on the roster now. Obviously, King Henry is still there at number 22. Desmond King, we don't know what his number is thus far. He'll be getting one here shortly. But the all-pro corner coming from LA currently has 20 tackles, 15 solos, and 1 sack. No interceptions, no pass defended. He's only started in 3 games of their 6 coming into this matchup or coming into this week. But it looks like there was some issues going on over there, but he comes over to us youthful at only 25 years old. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. So we get him for a 6th-round pick, very, very cheap, but we'll have to pay for him if he decides to stay with our squad. But he's going to fill in right now immediately and have an impact for our defense. Can't wait to have you. Welcome to the team, Desmond. Good luck this week and beyond, and tighten up for sure. But hey, we're here for the recap. Again, that's the great news. Now let's jump into some of this bad news. Yes, we were called. I got a chance to watch the game again and again and again, and this was just ugly. It's just ugly all the way around. We should have found a way to stay on the ground. We'll get into this as we go into our statistics, but let's break down their passing attack. They had a couple lucky passes, I would say. You can't really call them lucky. It was a lot of skill, some really tight windows. One on the sideline early in the game, caught on a 3rd down. One late in the middle of the field by Tyler Boyd, caught it last second in the middle of the field for a 1st down. Another one late on a 3rd down and 2 in the 4th quarter on the left side with Tate, the young guy. It's like all the wide receivers, all these young guys made big plays at big moments. We just couldn't stop them through the air. But anyways, Joe Burrow, number 9, the rookie, probably rookie of the year to be fair. 106.7 quarterback rating, 70.3% of his passes were completed. Only threw for 249. That's a 6.7 yards per attempt. 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Again, I told you guys we live and we so far have been living and dying by the turnover. We got no turnovers. We did not turn them over, and it definitely showed in the score sheet. Just definitely. So Tyler Boyd, moving on. I would say the number 1 wide receiver for them was actually T. Higgins. T. Higgins was the guy who had 6 catches, 78 yards, 13-yard average. No touchdowns, but did have 2 explosive plays. Tyler Boyd, who I'll try to rush and say, number 83, had another game. Again, that was that pass. You can see it here. Really quick, catches it like instinct. Nice throw by Burrow. Nice grab by Boyd. 6 catches, 67 yards total, 11.2 yards per catch. That's 1 touchdown, 0 explosive plays for him. For the most part, we kept the explosives down. We did give up the 2 to Higgins, but other than that, there was nothing in the air or on the ground really that was explosive for the most part. So Auden Tate, young guy, and looks to be, he's got the same build. Actually, he's taller, than A.J. Green. He appears to be the reason why A.J. Green is not getting the targets that he normally would get as a number one stud wide receiver, and probably also the reason why John Ross is like trying to get out of Cincinnati as soon as possible and why he didn't play this past week. But Auden Tate, 7 receptions, 65 yards, 9.3 yards per grab, no touchdowns, no explosives, but again, that big 3rd down and 2 catch to really seal the deal for the Cincinnati Bengals winning the game against us. The dude is massive, 6'5", I believe, and just towered over Jonathan Joseph. He never had a shot at that ball, but that's through the air. A lot of great passes, great decisions made by the rookie Joe Burrow, and a lot of instinct. You can tell that he's definitely fits in this league, and every week he's going to get better. I think that we kind of ran into him at the wrong time, to be fair. Our defense was not ready to play really anybody, but Joe Burrow came out and he was ready to play. That offense was able to throw the ball at will whenever they wanted to, and we just happened to be on the field whenever they decided to do that. But the running game, again, we have issues stopping the run, but the good news for us was Joe Mixon was on the bench. He was hurt, so they're going to tote out Giovani Bernard, and we're just going to stuff him. No, not really. He had 15 carries, 62 yards, 4.1 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown on the ground, and another one in the air. He actually had career high in total touchdowns with 2. He's been in the league forever, it seems like, and we let him set a career personal record for himself. But nonetheless, they were able to do it. And looking at the average, if they would have ran him 20 times, he would have probably got another touchdown and done well for himself. But for the most part, we kept them in check. But again, on 3rd down was our Achilles heel and our weakness still. Now, our running game, this is got to be the hardest thing for me. Like I've told you guys 100 times, and I'll tell you 100 more, our team is predicated on the run. We want to run the ball, pound, 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 then play action. Take deep shots, take a little slant route, little ins and outs, whatever that they give us in that second level when the linebackers scoot up, and allow us to dump it over their head. That's what our offense looks like. The problem is, huge shout out to Tannehill. We'll get to his stat line here in a second, but over 16 game span going into this past week, prior to the first snap of this past week, he had 42 touchdowns and 42 touchdowns and 6 interceptions over a 16-week span, or 16-game span. Those are definitely MVP numbers over if that was a season. Now, obviously, it was broken up into 2019 and 2020 season, but you got to keep that in mind. Those are big numbers. So I think that we were trying to turn our team almost into this balance, but at the same time, we're leaning a little bit harder to the right when it comes down to passing the ball. We have a ton of weapons on offense. We should be scoring 50 points a week. Like, that's exaggeration, but we definitely should be scoring at least 30 points every single week. And we only had 7 points going into the 4th quarter, down to a team that had 1 win on the season. Dial it back. Okay. We're a running team, what we're supposed to be, running team. Derrick Henry had 18 carries, 112 yards at 6.2 yard average, 1 touchdown, and only 1 explosive play. So that tells you that those 112 yards, that only 1 time he ran for 20 or more yards. That's just beating them up over and over and over again, and it was working. The ground game was working. We knew going into this game, as I broke it down with you guys with the preview, this defense really was unable to stop much of anything. But the way you want to really humiliate and like break down a defense over time is through the run game. Pound it, pound it, pound it, make them have to tackle, and then beat them deep, and then throw the ball all over them if we want to. So Derrick Henry did well on the ground. Only 18 carries, which is not okay as far as I'm concerned. Should have at least got the extra 2 carries, if not more. But we obviously couldn't run the ball anymore whenever we're down by 3 scores. But anyways, number 2 running back for us, Jeremy McNichols. What's his stat line look like? 4 rushes, 49 yards. He's averaging 12.3 yards a carry. 0 explosive runs. 0 explosive runs. Break that down. That's literally him 10 yards, 15 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards to get to his number. 4 rushes for almost 50 yards. we're running all over them, and we're still finding a way to pass. Next up, running the ball, D'Onta Foreman, welcome to the squad, came up from the practice squad and balled out with his only few carries that he had, but his 5 carries, 37 yards, that's 7.4 yards a carry. No touchdowns, no explosive plays. Again, 7.4 yards a carry for Foreman, 12.3 yards a carry for McNichols, 6.2 yards a carry for Henry. They couldn't stop us. They couldn't stop us on the ground, yet we still kept trying to throw the ball. Let's even throw in Tannehill. Tannehill had 2 carries, 20 yards. That's 10 yards a carry. They could not stop us on the ground, but yet we still kept trying to throw the ball. So it's throwing the ball. We must have done really well, obviously, because we threw the ball a ton. Ryan Tannehill, 92.8 quarterback rating, 60% completion rate, 233 yards, that's 7.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. Shame on you. Shame on you, Ryan Tannehill, for throwing that pick. I know that's not what you do. That's your 3rd for the season. You're doing really, really well, being smart with the ball in the red zone specifically. Shame on you. You know better than throw across your body late back to the middle of the field, and then you're going against one of the best safeties in the league. Jesse Bates III comes up with that interception whenever we definitely needed that. But it was one of those early interceptions where we're like, oh, no, it's okay. We'll be back. Then we missed a field goal. Oh, it's okay. We're only down by 10. We'll come back. And we just kept saying that until the 4th quarter, I guess, and we never quite came back. So anyways, Corey Davis, our number 1 wide receiver, showed up. He looked like the number 5 overall pick. He looked really, really good. Ran his routes crisply, had great hands. That touchdown was sick, by the way. 8 catches, 128 yards, 16 yards per clip, 1 touchdown, and 3 explosive plays. 20 yards or more through the air, 3 times on 8 catches. He balled out. Definitely balled out. Now, our tight end, the next best receiver after him, he caught 128 yards. Anthony Ferkser, kind of quietly, 2 receptions, 36 yards, and that's 0 touchdowns, 1 explosive play. But that one explosive play was really explosive. Pretty much his entire stat line was off of that one play down the middle of the field. But anyway, so you got Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith had 2 receptions, 29 yards, 14.5 yards per reception. No touchdowns, no explosives. Still looks like he is not 100% on that ankle. Even there was a moment where he could have got loose on it after his catch. He just didn't break away. You just didn't see that speed that he would normally have and just start to break off. Stiff arm a guy, maybe spin or something and make some moves. He was not having it. Not with that ankle. You could definitely tell he's not 100%. Next, A.J. Brown, right? So A.J. Brown caught 4 balls. And that was all 4 of those balls were in the second half. And after the first half, whenever we went to halftime, he had 1 target, no catches, no yardage, obviously. And it was obvious that we were going to try to force him the ball in the second half, and it did not work. And a lot of times it was on 3rd down, that slant pass that he dropped, crucial play. I think it was a 2nd down. It wasn't, we won't call it a crucial play. It was a big play for us. Play action, that's our bread and butter. Play action, slant right, that's the ball that he actually caught. It ran for 70-something yards the week prior against the Steelers for a touchdown. He just didn't catch the ball. Those hands, and he doesn't drop many, so we'll leave him alone. But definitely would like to see him reel that ball in and score the touchdown. Score the touchdown. Find a way to score the touchdown. But anyways, A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 24 yards, 6 yards per catch, and that's 1 touchdown. No explosive plays, but that one touchdown, you can see that man is big. He reminds me of, like, his mental is like Anquan Bolden, but like that strong, mean bully, but he's like 2 inches taller and like 30 pounds bigger than Anquan Bolden. And like no one could tackle him. Whenever he caught that ball, he was on the 12 or 13 yard line. You could tell he is not going to get tackled. He like broke a dude, shook a guy, stiff arm a guy, get off me, broke a tackle, and then just hopped into the end zone. Like, no problem at all. I like to see him get that ball in his hand early, like we tried to, let him break some tackles and use that speed and strength combination, but definitely wasn't there in the first half. All right, so the Cincinnati defense, I kind of banged on them a ton in the preview. I still think that they defensively against the ground game, which should have been our thing, they were not there. We know that, we saw that, but in the air, they held true. Josh Bynes, like I told you guys, number 56, had 5 tackles, 2 solos, no sacks, no tackles for a loss. Next up was Carl Lawson, their sack specialist, the guy supposed to get to us. Didn't get to us. 2 tackles, no solos, no tackles for a loss. He did touch the quarterback because he did get that one quarterback hit, but outside of that, was nowhere to be found. The real guy that we really needed to worry about and we knew that we needed to worry about, the safety. Number 30, Jesse Bates, showed up just like we thought he would. 11 tackles, 9 of those were solos, 1 pass deflection, or 1 pass defended, which was that interception late down the middle that my boy number 17 threw. But done and done. We get it. The passing game didn't work for us. The running game did work for us, but we just didn't use it like we needed to. But our defense against theirs, or against their offense, what did that look like? So Jayon Brown, again, seems to be a leading tackler every week so far. 12 tackles this week, 7 solos, a half of a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. No pass deflections this week. Definitely could have needed a couple pass deflections at any point in time during this game, especially on the 3rd down, but no pass defended on this game. Next up was Rashaan Evans. Mr. Evans had 6 tackles, 3 of those solos. That was the other half of the tackle for a loss. 1 pass defended. So they kind of switched spots this time around, whatever. But Evans also did have a crucial pass interference call or holding call that ended up giving them a 1st down late in the game and keeping the drive going and milking a little bit more clock off towards our loss at the end of the day. But overall, a solid game for our linebacking core. But our secondary, hence the Desmond King trade. But our secondary again got beat up. On the line though, we had Jeffrey Simmons coming for a sack, couldn't get a sack. We had a couple times, man. Jadeveon Clowney wide open to the sack, couldn't get it. Harold Landry missed 2 sacks in one play. 2 sacks in one play. Joe Burrow is athletic, I give him that. But it wasn't even like an athletic maneuver that he made to get away. It was just missed tackles. Anyways, Jeffrey Simmons, 4 tackles, 3 of those were solos. No tackles for a loss, but he did get to the quarterback 1 time. On the backside, Malcolm Butler having a season still. 8 tackles, 5 of those were solos, 2 pass defended, no interceptions. Again, no turnovers, just in general for the defense, and we felt it for sure. Kevin Byard, I just wanted to say his name, really, because he has been nowhere to be found. Him and Jadeveon Clowney, I'm thinking they're hanging out on the weekends or something and chit-chatting about nothing at all, because when it comes down to game time, they're like nowhere to be found, it doesn't seem. But this week, I won't beat him up too bad. 7 tackles, 4 solos, 1 pass defended, and a quarterback hit. He actually got a pressure on the quarterback as well. No sack, though, but got to the quarterback to hit him. So Kevin Byard, I appreciate it. Good work this week. Let's get a little bit more, please. But again, how many phases in this game? 3. The offense, we saw the pros, the cons. The defense, we saw the cons and the cons. Special teams, Gostkowski, please, and I beg of you, after week 1, I wanted to strangle you. We came back, we said, no. Just came off the surgery, off-season injury. He'll be getting fine. He'll be all right. You won the game for us in week 1. Week 2, do your thing. Week 3, do your thing. I'm just like, all right, he made 5 field goals, more game winners. I'm like, whoo, the Super Bowl champ is back. He's ready to go. And then you do this to us, man. You do this to us again. This time you didn't lose the game per se. You made 2 extra points, but you were 0 for 1 when it comes down to kicking field goals. We can't miss these kicks. Make some kicks. But it's not an individual game. Obviously, there's team statistics as well. So let's take a look at what the Cincinnati Bengals did as a team versus what we did as a team statistically. So the Cincinnati Bengals 3rd down conversion rate, they were 10 for 15, which gave them 2/3 of their attempts were converted. On 4th down, they were 1 for 1, perfect. Total plays ran, 69, which is more than us. Total yards, 367. Red zone efficiency, they were 4 of 5. Pretty dang efficient when it came down to red zone. That's our game. That's what we do. 4 times they scored touchdowns out of the 5 opportunities, 80%. Turnovers, 0. This is the team that gives the ball away like candy. Did not give up a turnover. And also, there's no stat here on this this board here with you. But sacks, you can write it down here somewhere. Sacks, 0. This is the last team in the league. They give up the most sacks in the NFL. 0 sacks. 0. Time of possession, 35 minutes and 57 seconds. They held the ball. They did their job. What did we do? Tennessee Titans, 3rd down, 5 for 9. That is 55.6%. That's okay. We'd like to see it up on 60% or better. It would be really nice. 4th downs, we were perfect, 1 for 1. Total plays, we ran 60 plays during this game. Again, it's 3 games in a row that we're putting up barely enough plays. Actually, 2 games in a row. The other time we went into overtime and we put up more plays, but barely putting up plays. We need to be well over 60. I'd like to be pushing 70 plays per game. 60 plays per game. Total yards, 441. Yes, we beat them in something because we lost or tied in everything else. Red zone efficiency, we were 3 for 4, 75%. Turnover differential, -1. -1. Time of possession, 24 minutes and 3 seconds overall. Literally, statistically, we lost this game. In the score box, we lost this game. We got out-coached. Somehow we got outplayed by a team that we should not have got outplayed by. We lost this game and we should have lost. Again, I'll go back. The referees definitely didn't help us out. There was a couple plays that they were kind of, but overall, this is a game that we're supposed to win, handle, take care of, and we did not. But we have to let it go. We have to turn that page and move forward. And the first way to do that is let's wrap up week 8 in our conference and in our division. So let's go ahead and take a look at the AFC now. All right, you guys. So here's what the AFC looks like after week 8. As you can tell, the Pittsburgh Steelers are still up there slithering away, 7-0, undefeated. I don't know how they found a way to beat the Ravens. Lamar Jackson just kind of gave it to him. That was a bad game by him. I need him to be a little bit more clutch in big games. Anyways, can't talk too much. We took a loss to them the week prior. Kansas City is 7-1, just handled the Jets. My bad on that call. I thought they would not handle them by 20, but they could have beat them by 30 if they wanted to. The Buffalo Bills are next up, 6-2, tied with the Tennessee Titans. I guess they're not tied with the Tennessee Titans. They're just a little bit ahead of us by a half of a game because they played one extra game. The Titans are 5-2, and we're tied with those Baltimore Ravens, who are 5-2, and also our division rival Colts are 5-2. So let's go ahead and get into our division. The AFC South, as you can see here, the standings don't change, but the records do. Titans are still atop, 5-2 technically because we're 2-0 in the division. The Colts are 5-2, tied with us as well, but they're 0-1 in the division. Texans and Jags took the week off. They could definitely need that break as they're 1-6, both of them. But the Texans are 1-1 in the division, while the Jags are 1-2. All right, so speaking of the Jags bringing up the rear, as you can see here, week 8 they did have a bye, but week 7 they did have that loss to the Chargers, 29-39. This week coming up, they play the Texans, both of them coming off of a bye. Should be a good matchup. I think they're going to be starting a new quarterback as well, as Gardner Minshew is having an issue with his thumb. I think he's got a fracture in his thumb. Week 10, they play on the road to play the Green Bay Packers. Then they play week 11, the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed by the Brownies, and on the road for week 13 to play the Minnesota Vikings. Houston Texans, again, coming off of a bye. The week prior, lost to the Packers big, 35-20. Week 9, they got the Jaguars on the road. Then they stay on the road to go to play Cleveland, come back home to play a reeling New England Patriots team. Then they go back on the road to play the Detroit Lions and then finish up this little stretch at home against a division rival Colts. Indianapolis Colts, after week 7's bye, week 8 they come out, go to Detroit and beat up on the Lions 41-21, setting up a big run of games, as you can see here. Week 9, they're at home playing the Baltimore Ravens after they just lost to the Steelers. I doubt that they're going to be happy to see the Colts. Then they follow that up week 10 on the road to play our Tennessee Titans. Coming back home, they get to play the Green Bay Packers, and then they get to go stay home and play the Tennessee Titans again, and then follow week 13 up on the road to play a Houston Texans team, division rival that does not want to see them win. That is a hard stretch of games. Tennessee Titans don't have it easier. Obviously, you can see there week 7 and week 8, both losses for us. Losing to the Steelers 27-24, then the Bengals, who are now 2-5-1, shouldn't have lost this game. I don't know if I've said that enough. should not have lost this game. Now, week 9 is upon us. Our matchup is against the Chicago Bears. Our week 10 matchup is against our rival Colts. Then on the road to play the Ravens, and then on the road to play the Colts again, following the Browns in week 13 to end this stretch of games. This is a crazy, crazy time for us. We were kind of hoping, again, I keep saying that NFL, when they give you a game that you're supposed to just slam dunk and win, you take it. And the Cincinnati Bengals was that game. We did not take that win, and now we got to go on this stretch that's not really conducive to a Super Bowl run. But we have to keep it together. We have no buys. No buys. There's no excuses moving forward. We need to get our team squared away and get them together. Again, it starts this week. Week 9 is here. Chicago Bears, contenders, pretenders. I've been calling them pretenders all year long. They lose to the Saints last week. I think it's time for us to slap them in the face and put them in their position and let them know. We've already seen Nick Foles before. He's not that good. Whenever he's with the Jags, we handle them then. The preview for this matchup is coming up really soon. I'll be giving it to you on Thursday. Right before you see Thursday Night Football, you'll get our preview for the Chicago Bears playing our Tennessee Titans. I cannot wait to bring it to you. And again, if you like this episode or any other episode in the past, click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to this channel. Get notified as well by clicking that notifications bell, and I will let you know the next time we upload another episode of Tighten Up Today. But before you leave, I got one question for you. Why tighten up tomorrow when you could tighten up today?